It's January 30th, 2015. And what I was saying is that just talked about even this one Russian place and Bob Jr. being there, but I think even more so, it was kind of more like James Cartwright. James Cartwright was really mad at me, and he was one of the main individuals who wanted me to do all this bowing to Kate Middleton. But anyway, so when I was raped by Josh Gatov, going to that, and he made that comment about, what would your dad think to know you were taken by a Jew? Like I said, I'm not quite sure if he was in some way referring to the name that I gave my baby daughter, who was kidnapped from me, or if he was just making a comment based on his rape of me. And so basically, I was at his apartment, and you know, and he had said something about a massage or whatever, and I just thought that's all he was going to do, because I'd had people do that to me, give me massages before, and they didn't do anything else. They didn't press or push anything. And so I said okay, and then the next thing I knew, he rolled me over, and then I heard his zipper, and I was trying to move away from him, and I got scared and said, I started saying, repeating to him, I'm a virgin, and I'm not going to have sex with you. So I said, I tried pushing him off, and when I started trying to push him off, he started pushing down harder on me. And he said, yes, he says, I know you want it. And I said, no. And I started saying no several times. And every time I said no, he kept saying, I know you want it, or whatever. Like trying to invalidate why I was saying no, as if I was just playing a game. And then, because he wasn't listening to me and I couldn't push him off, he was very heavy, I started saying stop. Because I thought, you know, if he's not getting that I'm serious when I say no, and I've been telling him I'm a virgin and, you know, get off of me. I thought, no, the word no isn't working, so maybe he needs to hear stop, because maybe stop will help him to realize that I'm serious. So I started saying that. And then at some point I was insistent, and I didn't just give up. I kept trying to push him off, and then the more I was yelling and saying this out loud, trying these different things to say out loud to get him away from me and trying to remove him from me and get out from under him, he became extremely forceful and like bearing all of his weight down on me, so that I couldn't move. And then I got scared, because all of a sudden I heard this zipper sound, and with the knives that I knew he had with him on his person at the time, and because of the premeditated crimes that the U.S. had committed against me, using a whole gang of people several times to force me to not resist when I was being attacked or pushed down on while lying down, forced on my back. Because that had been done to me so many times, and I was tortured if I didn't comply with what they were doing to me, and told one of these times you'll get killed if you don't go along with it. I did scream. I got extremely scared, And I thought about, if I scream louder, am I going to alert someone in the apartment area? Because I couldn't hear anyone. I didn't hear the sound of anyone nearby. And I thought, if I start screaming louder and even more, it was already making him more angry. He was going from being like this relaxed, kind of laid-back person to being extremely aggressive and violent. And I thought, maybe it will make him even more violent. And so then when I noticed he was threatening me or implying use of a knife and was not getting off of me, and I wasn't actually even strong enough to push him off of me or try to get out from under him, I, at some point, after a long time of trying to get away, I stopped saying anything, because it got to the point where I thought, he's going to kill me. And by his words, the things that he said to me, and his actions, I really did believe that he would possibly kill me. And I thought, and no one would know it. He could just do it right here, cover it up. I don't think anybody knew that I was on a date with him, or that I had gone out with him. I possibly had left a note with my housemates, just because I usually did for safety reasons. I think I did leave a note with my housemates. You know, something like, if I'm not back by a certain time, call police. Because I didn't always just go out and not tell someone where I was going. And it's actually possible that, since the housemates that I was living with worked for jails and for state patrol guards and everything at jails or prisons, state prisons, it's possible that that maybe had something to do with why there were cops showing up down at the park. But he also knew them. Josh did. He knew these cops, and it was kind of clear that they knew each other. So, and the cops were not protecting me. I mean, they were not. It's kind of the other way around. So basically, he raped me. Josh Gatov did. He didn't use, I don't remember, it happened anyway. Well, I remember some other parts, but it happened very fast, and I just started trying to think about something else, and I just remember I got really mad. I didn't say anything when it got to the point where I thought he was, really believed he was going to kill me. But I had a burning internal anger against him. And for what he was doing. And it made me think of what all these other people had done to me. And the only way that I could defend myself or protect myself from, losing it or freaking out and that kind of thing was my self-defense mechanism was to become extremely angry. And I hated him. And I said nothing. When it got to the point where he wouldn't, he was clearly going to rape me, and he made it very, he made it understood that is what his plan was. He did not act like somebody who was just sort of turned on and wasn't taking no for an answer. He acted like this was some kind of a mission for him that he was going to benefit from. And then after he raped me, he said, "What would your dad think to know you were taken by a Jew?" So then again, it was like, at the time, I just thought that comment had something to do with his raping me. You know, being taken, quote unquote, like people get taken and then raped in war, that kind of thing. So that's what I thought that was implying when he said it. However, I also had this baby girl when I was a teen, and I had her in the same town that he grew up in. And her name sort of sounds like a combination, sounds potentially like something that he was trying to bring up when he raped me. And so that is, you know, there are many people who rape people, and but the point that I would stress the most is that it was the United States government that was conditioning me and forcing me to not resist at some point, and repeatedly doing this to me, so that it would look like at some point I was allowing it to happen. And that's what the United States has been doing with my life. And the United States has been kidnapping my kids and telling me ahead of time. For example, one time they asked me, before I had my first daughter, I was asked if I would allow the United States to train her. They started talking to me like they wanted me to be part of some training program. And I said, well, what do you mean? They said, well, we'd like to train her and have some people that could work with the government, if you can allow it. And she'd have some good opportunities. And I said, well, what do you mean by you want to train her? I said, the way you trained me. I said, because I had government training, quote unquote, me, and abusing me. At the same time, I said, there's no way that I would allow the United States government to train her. I said, I want to raise my own child the way that I think is best for her and with the values that I have. And I am a better person. I care for her more, and I protect her better than anyone that would be training her. And these government people that approached me about that said, they got snappy about it and said, if you're not going to let us train her, then we'll take her from you anyway. And I said, you can't do that. And they said, yes, we can. And I said, no, you can't. I said, how would you do that? You're just going to kidnap her? And they said, you don't know who you're dealing with, do you? And I said, yeah, I know that the government does a lot of things, but you can't just take someone's kid for no reason, even though I am young. And I said, there are plenty of teen moms who are single. And they said, well, they said, we can make you look crazy. And I said, no, you can't. And I was just sure of it. I said, how are you going to make me look crazy? I said, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy, so how are you going to try to make me look crazy? I said, you can't take my baby from me. So then they promised me that they would. And at the time that I was approached about my child being trained by quote-unquote government persons from Virginia, ultimately, I was already pregnant, and I had not had my baby yet, though.